Hello. This video is directed to those of you in the NFL who continue to kneel and refuse to stand for our flag and for our anthem. This is an effort to try to persuade you to do so. Years ago when I was in law school, I had a professor, Judge Paul Egley, who advised us that whenever there's a confusion about not understanding something, to whittle it down to the basics, the fundamentals. Who is doing what to whom? So, trying to keep that in mind, you believe that there is an institutional racism of whites against blacks that perpetuates oppression and kills blacks. I'd like to point out something, that in a nation of 330 million people, that you are bound to have some evil, racist people, some of whom, a few only, wear a uniform. In every aspect of culture, you will find these people. So does that mean that you should just focus on them and not recognize that most of us in this country are good, decent people? Now, I've been practicing law for the past 25 years as a street lawyer, and most of my clients are minorities. I don't care. I try to do the best I can for them. And you know what most of them want? Most of them want fairness. And that's what you want. That's what I want. That's what most good Americans want, is fairness. So I'm asking you to stand united with us because we want fairness, we want liberty, and we want justice for all. That's what we, most of us, pledge allegiance to. Liberty and justice for all. So why not stand for the flag? Here's the flag. What does it stand for? The white stands for purity. I don't think you would argue with that. The red stands for struggle. And the blue stands for justice. Now, what about the National Anthem, which you also refuse to stand for? Do you know why it was written? Do you know when it was written? It was written during the bombardment of Fort McHenry. It was a despotic monarch who was trying to crush our republic and pound that fort into the dust. But we resisted those who believe in liberty and justice for all. That's what we believe in. That's what you believe in. So why not stand with us? Do you think you have a corner on suffering? Because believe me, you do not. I'd like to point out something. Point out some people who were minorities. The Tuskegee Airmen, the Red Tails. How about Ira Hayes and the Navajo Windtalkers? Or, I remember I go out to the VA out in Loma Linda, and I try to buttonhole veterans to find out where they served, what they did. And I remember seeing this Hispanic gentleman in a wheelchair with a hat that said Korean War. And there are not many of those left. The Forgotten War. And I finally was able to talk to him and to get him to tell a little bit about his story. He had been a prisoner of war in North Korea and had been tortured, either by the North Koreans or the Chinese, doesn't matter. He had been tortured, and he's forgotten over there in Loma Linda. If any of these people had a reason to kneel, they didn't kneel. They stood. And what did they stand for? Our flag and our anthem. So why don't you? Please stop dividing us and recognize the good. Don't just focus on the bad. Let me point something out. This is a dollar bill. The obverse, the reverse side of the $1. It's the obverse of the Great Seal. And what is on there? Take a close look. I don't know if this is focusing in on it. It is an unfinished pyramid. Our founders, when they created this country, recognized that America is a work in progress. We are not perfect, and maybe we will never be perfect. Only the dead have seen the end of war. So only the dead will see the end of oppression and racism Are any of you so perfect that you have not in your lifetime done something that if someone else found out about it, that they would not kneel and protest? But you believe yourself to be a good person, so let's focus on that. We believe our country to be a good country with good ideals. So believe in that. Believe in the flag for what it stands. We're not there yet. It's a struggle. And it is a struggle that is not relegated to this particular time and place in space. It is a struggle that has continued for millenniums past. It is a struggle that exists out there too. A struggle of light against darkness. Truth against the perversion of light. Structure versus chaos. And yes, to some, chaos is a ladder. But it is a ladder that leads into the pit of despair and suffering. Good versus evil is a struggle that may continue forever, including out there. And you don't believe there is an out there? I'm asking you to step outside of yourselves and look at the big picture. You don't believe there's an out there? Go to my website, sts48.com. It was a video taken by the Discovery Shuttle of 2 extraterrestrial spacecraft that show them exiting our atmosphere, but also us trying to shoot them down. This is a struggle that is not relegated to this particular time and place in space. You have to get out of your own parochial pigmentation problem and recognize that this is a struggle that all of us are involved in. Join with us. Unite us. Do not divide us anymore. Now, some of you may say that this nation was born in oppression and racism. Racism has been around for hundreds of thousands, millenniums. And our founders recognized eventually that it was wrong. They evolved their thinking. Well, our founders were slave owners, you may claim. Yes, they were. Some of them. Not all of them. Not Ben Franklin. He evolved his thinking. How about Thomas Jefferson? He owned slaves, right? Well, let me point something out to you that perhaps you are not aware, of which you are not aware. 3rd page of the rough draft of the Declaration of Independence, where Jefferson was about to step onto the world stage and proclaim for everybody that he was wrong. He called slavery, as he wrote the rough draft, he called slavery a cruel war against human nature itself. He referred to it as an execrable commerce, as an assemblage of horrors. He knew he was wrong, and he was about to step up onto the stage. But then what happened? The Southerners wouldn't sign it, and so he had to withdraw it, and then they signed it. As Ben Franklin said, hey, half a loaf is better than none. Let's first get a country, and then deal with the issue of slavery. Unfortunately, it was postponed for, 80 years, when hundreds of thousands of men died to get rid of slavery, most of them being white. Our nation is based upon the recognition that there is a creator and that the creator has blessed this country. There is no God, you may say. May I quote something from Abraham Lincoln? I can see how it might be possible for a man to look down upon the earth and be an atheist. But I cannot conceive how a man could look up into the heavens and say, there is no God. Remember, we all have feet of clay, but most of us believe we can do better. So I'm asking you, gentlemen, please stand up for what you stand for, and stand with us in respecting our flag and our anthem, because it stands for liberty and justice for all. I believe that we can meet with each other. East is east and west is west, and never the twain shall meet, till earth and sky stand presently at God's great judgment seat. But there is neither east nor west, border nor breed nor birth, when two strong, principled men come face to face, though they come from the ends of the earth. Please, don't divide us anymore. Stand with us. Help to unite us. Stand for our anthem and our flag. I ask you. The decision rests with you. Thank you for your time.